If you should find that the main gears inside your Interceptor helicopter have become really loose, or maybe they're stripped, or the props are spinning independently of the gears. The gears are replaceable. All you really need is a small Phillips screwdriver and the helicopter itself to perform this operation. You need to remove the canopy. First, all you do is loosen up the bolt holding the canopy in place at the bottom, and the two connectors on both sides here pull back. You will find that it's still held in place by a piece of tape. There's some wires, and that holds an LED in place. All you do is put the screwdriver in under the tape, lift, and pull away, and the assembly comes undone. To gain access to the main gears inside the housing, you will have to remove the 4 bolts which are holding in place the landing gear to the main rotor cage. Once the final screw is removed, the landing gear and the lower part of the metal cage is removed. You will find that the 2 main gears are exposed. If they're broken, you will actually be able to remove the gears themselves. If you find that they're loose as such, or they're able to move up and down, you will be now able to tighten them up properly. There are 2 screws holding the lower gear in place. They're very easy to access now that the entire assembly is exposed. Come in from the side, bring the screwdriver in through the cage and access the screw. Loosen it up all the way, or as much as you can, and then on the other side as well. This should now allow you to remove the lower gear, and also you will now be able to pull out the upper rotor assembly. Once the lower gear is pulled out, the upper gear is now accessible. Keep in mind the upper gear is responsible for the drive of the lower blades. Simply get the screwdriver in through there, wiggle it around a bit, and it will come right out. At this time it is good to replace the worn gears inside here. However, please note that once the gears are removed, this shaft is also now able to come out. There is a bearing inside here which needs to be placed in here as well. To reassemble everything, basically follow the exact same steps in the reverse process, putting in the new replacement parts instead. Reinstalling new gears is the reverse procedure of removing the gears. First you want to put in the upper gear, and you will need to note that there's a flat notch on the drive shaft here, which needs to match up with a similar flat spot on the inside of this gear. So you take the gear, match it up, it connects with the drive shaft. You need to rotate it until it matches, and also the big gear needs to connect with the small driven gear. It cannot be sitting above or cannot be sitting below. Both gears need to be in line, and if they're not in line, these gears will be stripped. Once the upper gear is firmly in place inside the helicopter's metal cage, it's time to install the lower gear and the upper blade assembly. First, you take the upper blade assembly and you simply just insert it in through the center of the big drive shaft. Push it all the way through. Now the pin will come through the lower gear. Secondly, you take the new lower gear and you mount it onto that pin and push it all the way down until it matches up with the small driving gear. Once again, these gears need to be in perfect alignment with the driving gear, otherwise the teeth will become stripped. It is further very important that the small flat spot that is on this drive shaft matches up with one of these screws. So I'm just going to turn that here. In this case, it's here. Rotate that, and you insert the screwdriver in through the side of the metal cage and tighten the bolts on both sides. It's very important to tighten these bolts properly so that they're not loose, otherwise the gear will come loose of the drive shaft and damage may incur. Furthermore, to finish off this procedure, it's necessary to remount the landing gear and insert all 4 bolts to hold it in place, and to remount the body onto the front end here, connecting it to these points as well as a point at the bottom, and ensuring that the LED is also reinserted at the front of the cabin. It's really easy to install the body. It's just a reverse procedure of how you removed it in the first place. Thank you. Enjoy your new gears.